Tonight on the 8th expanded edition of FFX, league leaders soar to new heights as Liberty lays the smackdown in Southwest Bakersfield and the Drillers dominate downtown. Plus, two Cinderella stories we're looking to keep the magic alive past midnight, while Joe Exotic gets replaced by Kern County's Tiger King. Strap in and start your engines, because FFX is coming your way next.
Drillers are back.
This is the expanded edition of FFX with 17 Sports Director Taylor Schaub and football analyst, BC head coach Todd Littlejohn. Sponsored by Valley Strong Credit Union.
There's a new Tiger King in Kern County. Good evening and thanks for joining us for a special Sunday expanded edition of FFX. I'm Taylor Schaub. Joining me as always, Renegade head football coach Todd Littlejohn. How about those Wasco Tigers?
How about those Tigers, Joe Exotic, baby? I love it.
We'll get to Wasco in a minute, but we have a lot of great games going on across the Golden Empire. And 7 days after their statement victory against Garces, the Liberty Patriots were back on the road looking for their, get this, 17th straight league win. Brian Nixon's boys were hoping to fly past Centennial in the annual Freedom Bowl, and Liberty's lockdown defense, well, they were just carving up Centennial early and often. That's Grant Buckey forcing a fumble on the punt attempt. Grant Buckey's been so good. And then special teams playing a factor once again, Coach. This is Jalen Hankins.
Once again, special teams continues to show up week after week and contributing to these big wins.
Hankins putting on the afterburners, 61 yards. Liberty hasn't even had a possession on offense yet. They were already up 14-0. Then they go on offense after an 81-yard drive. That's Grant Austin forcing his way into the end zone. And then it's Austin again plowing his way in.
Baby, that's a great hard run right there for a touchdown.
Liberty on all facets of the ball was just playing extraordinary football on Friday night.
No question, and you know, it's a great contribution when you have each of the units scoring and playing hard and just continue competition.
Liberty, again, just absolutely dominating in this game. Let's take a look at the final score in this one. 51-21. Liberty Patriots are 5-2 on the year. They now hold a 2-game lead over Centennial. They're tied with BHS. They're in prime position, though, Coach, to win their 4th straight SWYL title.
Yes, they are. You know, week after week, if they have those performances, it's going to be tough to beat them.
We talked about BHS staying in the Power League after being discounted by most in the preseason. Max Preps moved the Drillers up 8 spots, and for good reason. They continued their domination of late against Stockdale. We're going to pick it up in the first. That's Tybo Rogers. This guy, oh, he's an athlete.
Taking on the whole Stockdale defense right there for the touchdown.
Taking on the entire Stockdale school in this one. All right, this is Ty Monterio launching an absolute missile into the end zone. Dalen Leach with the reception there, 14-0 BHS. This new look BHS team flowing. The crowd was singing Miley Cyrus. It's a party at BHS, Coach.
Yes, it is. And you know, it's one thing we mentioned last week. They're really taking advantage of their tough schedule early on.
That was Dalen Leach once again, his 2nd touchdown of the night. Ty Monterio, oh, he's just been so good in this one. He was 7 for 9, 163 yards, 3 scores. And Rashawn Sheehy, the interim head coach, oh, he's got to be happy. And then look at this one, just for good measure. You talked about Tybo Rogers. He plowed his way through Stockdale's defense earlier. This time, putting on the Jets, making his way into the end zone, Coach.
Still showing that the Drillers have guys.
Yes, they do. Athletes all over the place. 34-8 is the final. The Drillers have won back-to-back games. Here's Rashawn Sheehy after the win.
It's 2 weeks in a row. Defense been going out, flying around, just hitting people, playing physical. We want to make sure we bring physicality to the table, and that's what we did today. Hey, Drillers are back.
Coach, are the Drillers back?
They're back.
All right, meantime, the biggest storyline from Friday came from a game that wasn't even played. Frontier was forced to cancel their game with Garces Friday morning due to COVID protocols, and word is at this time they'll most likely sit out the next 2 weeks because of the timing on that. Coach, how difficult is that for a Frontier team that showed so much promise?
You know, it really hurts because the momentum that they had and the build up to this game, now you sit, and it's just tough. Very, very tough at this point in the season.
You feel for the Titans, you feel for the Rams who didn't get to play. They weren't able to reschedule either. All right, after starting their season 5-0, the West High has become one of Bakersfield's best storylines. But Friday, they would have to battle to keep their unbeaten streak alive. The West Vikings, they docked their ship at home on Thursday, hosting BCHS in an SEYL clash. Pick it up in the first, following a turnover. West giving the ball back to BCHS. We're going to speed this thing up. That's Bryson Waterman.
Ooh, that's some speed right there.
All right? That kid's incredible. He was our co-player of the week 2 with his brother Braden Waterman, who you see right there, who's got a cannon and just knows how to make smart throws too to his brother Bryson there.
Absolutely. Very, very efficient with the ball in this game, which really, really helped their offense.
All right, so it's 14-0 until Tajay Carson plows his way through the BCHS defense. West trying to come back in this game, cuts the lead to just 7, and then BCHS's offense absolutely explodes.
Whenever you can get those two on the same page and Waterman throwing the ball, man, it's really tough to beat him.
Slinging it out to Jordan Delgado there, 21-7 Eagles. Right now, they're just on an absolute roll. Here's Waterman one more time, the cannon, airing it out. Dylan Johnson taking it in for 6. The aerial attack continues, 49-19, and with back-to-back 40-point games, Coach Darren Carr says this team is rounding into form at the perfect time.
It all has to click. That's the thing. Like in basketball, you can kind of roll the ball out and let LeBron James score 60, but it takes all 11 guys, So proud of the coaches, proud of the way the quarterback's getting rid of the ball and getting to our playmakers.
All right, the Scots welcomed Bishop Union to town after their game with Miramonte was canceled due to COVID protocols. We're going to pick this thing up in the first. Highlands' high-powered offense was back on the attack. JoJo Monta rolling out, and he finds Manny Valeda on this 5-yard pass. Scott's up 6-0 after the missed PAT. Coach, we've talked about it all year. This Highland offense, they just continue to soar.
Absolutely, and with Monta's leadership, and you watch him throwing, running, he's really, really controlling this offense very, very well at this point.
Absolute dime right there. Mata once again finding Valeta. And Coach Michael Gutierrez is just going to be so happy with this team, the way that they've just rounded into form, and they're kind of a juggernaut in that league.
Absolutely they are, and I'm sure Coach G, one of the things is taking care of the football, allowing your offense to stay on the field, and then playing really good solid defense.
Broncos attempted to mount a comeback, wasn't good enough. Scots take this one 28-20. They move to 6-1 on the year. All right, still to come, the Foothill Trojans entered Week 8 unbeaten for the first time since the Clinton administration. Could they stay perfect at home against the Stars? Find out next on FFX.
You're watching Friday Football Extra!
FFX, Friday Football Extra, Kern County High School Football, sponsored by Valley Strong Credit Union.
Welcome back to FFX. At 5-0, the Foothill Trojans have marched to their best start since 1996. In a win this week against a feisty North team, Coach, that would position them nicely to win their first league title since, 1981?
Right. It's been a while, and it would be really, really good for their program, obviously.
Absolutely. They got the new field rocking. The unis look sweet. Let's
Gotta
see
love
if they
them.
can go to 6-0 to start their year. All right, rolling the tape. Look at them coming out. Foothill looking mean. They're facing the North Stars. They just beat Foothill, just beat South for the first time in a decade, so all sorts of milestones. But North would get the scoring going early. That's Markai Shaw, the running back, playing quarterback to start the game off, and Shaw gets to about the 2-yard line, but then he finishes the deal, Coach.
Absolutely, and no matter where he comes from, the backfield quarterback, that's a big back that you got to tackle.
And look at the chain there. I love that.
Absolutely.
Do you think I could pull it off?
Not sure about that, but maybe.
Well, Foothill could pull off a score there. That was Raphael Mohe, the quarterback, keeping the rock zigzagging his way in. And then the 2-point conversion, and that's all they would need. 30 seconds left in the half, 8-6 Foothill leads. They'd hang on to win this thing 8 6, an old school defensive battle. 6-0, those Foothill Trojans. Coach.
Absolutely, it's like an NFC North Division game. It's just grimy.
It's the kind of football you like. Maybe not me. Maybe not me. All right, Indy came into play Friday looking for their first victory. Falcons with another tough test to Tehachapi. They gave Garces a run for their money last time they were out. LaDon Denmark here flipping it to Evan Peaker. He evades some defenders, gets his way in. Here's Denmark with just an absolute beauty, finding Anthony Rico on the fade for the touchdown. Falcons were up 14-0. They go ahead and win this thing 21-6. Independence gets their first win of the fall. Wolfpack were also seeking their first win, and this one came down to the wire. In the third, some trickery afoot. This is a pitch to Antonio Brown, but he's going to throw it, and it's Nick Machado coming back with the ball.
Nice.
Golden Valley pulls ahead 14-7, 1 minute left. After recovering a fumble, Ridgeview's quarterback Andres Rivera carries them into the end zone. Casey Quinn gets his first win as Ridgeview head coach. 15-14 is the final. Ridgeview now 1-4. Meantime, Week 7, the East Blades secured their second win of the year with a thrilling come-from-behind victory. Week 8 against South, that was a different story. Shane Carr with the laser to Demarie Wofford for another South touchdown. 26-10 in the fourth. They go on to win this thing 26-16. And thanks to the stellar play of backup quarterback Devin Sungrin, the Shafter Generals have reemerged as co-favorites to win the South Sequoia League. And Friday, they were looking to take care of business against those Arvin Bears. Winners of 4 straight, the quote-unquote Road Warriors were hosting Arvin in Oildale. We're going to pick this thing up in the first. Shafter was threatening when Elijah Lucero gets his number called, finds a gap for his first of his 3 touchdowns on the night. 7-0 Generals. Second quarter, we're going to go, and it's Devin Sungrin, who had 3 touchdowns last week. This guy calling his own number 88. It's been so good for them. Makes his way into the end zone. 13-0 at that point. 47-0 was the final. Those Shafter Generals, they've won 5 straight after losing their first 2. And after stifling Kennedy in a South Sequoia League showdown Week 7, the unbeaten Wasco Tigers finally cracked Max Prep's top 20 list. This week, they were looking for their 6th straight, welcoming Chavez to town. We're going to start in the second. Tigers on top, 8-0 when Michael Dominguez drives his way past the Titans D for 6. Tiger loving that. Next Wasco possession, similar spot, similar result, except this time it's Alexis Gaimiz. He was untouched. And then Jacob Ruiz showcasing that cannon. He connects with Sean Sharp. He was the hero last week. This is a 60-plus yard touchdown. Ruiz had 3 touchdowns, ran for another one. Wasco wins this thing 41-8. Taft was taking a joyride to Cougartown on Friday. McFarland, not the TV show on TBS with Courtney Cox. Wildcats were up 14-0 when quarterback Jackson Berry decides to keep the ball and take a trip into the red zone. He gets taken down at the 1, but it was no matter because Cyrus Gaylord would go up the gut, get in for 6, 21-0 Taft. Wildcats would go on to take this one, their first league victory, 42-0, shutting out those Cougars who fall to 1-5 on the year. Let's take a look at some other scores around Kern County. Tulare Union beats Delano 47-7. Kern Valley beats Cal City 43-0. And here's a look at the league leaders through 8 weeks of the regular season, 2 weeks of league play, a little more for the South Sequoia League. Foothill and Highland, they're all tied up. The Power League, Liberty, BHS, they're tied at the top right now. You can see Bakersfield Christian alone on top. Wasco, Shafter, they're duking it out. Kennedy not far behind either. All right, ahead on FFX with just 3 weeks left in the regular season. Every snap matters. We'll bring Coach Littlejohn back to talk playoff strategy in Coach's Corner.
FFX, Friday Football Extra, Kern County High School Football, sponsored by Valley Strong Credit Union. Coach's Corner with Renegade head football coach Todd Littlejohn.
Don't worry, he's back. Coach Littlejohn, thank you for coming back on here. So I want to talk strategy with you. We're through 8 weeks of the regular season. For most of the leagues in Kern County, 2 weeks of league play, a lot of implications going on right now. And the first one we just have to talk about, which is Frontier Garces, what happened with the COVID cancellation. And for a lot of these teams, if Frontier doesn't come back, if they're not able to play, Coach, until the last week of the season, like, what does a Liberty do? Do they schedule another opponent and risk a non-league loss just to keep the continuity and give the kids a chance to play?
That definitely is a possibility, you know, because you want to continue to stay on point, keep the guys alive. Inactivity is tough, you know, especially at this point of the year. Just as you mentioned, just the continuity in general, the timing of those things, it really, really hurts if you're not able to play.
Okay, so I want to talk about your alma mater, BHS, the Drillers. You said they were back earlier. So did interim head coach Rashawn Sheehy. They've won 2 straight, but do they have a chance to take down Garces and then eventually Liberty?
Well, I think at this point, you just play 1 week at a time, you know, and as they're continuing to improve, you don't worry about, you know, games that far in advance. You just want to get better every day. And at this point, as you can see, they're playing with some enthusiasm. They're playing with confidence. And, you know, you want to peak at this time going into the playoffs.
We spend so much time talking about the Power League, but that's unfair to some of the great teams across Kern County. One team that really stands out, we talked about them earlier, was those Foothill Trojans, who are 6-0 for the first time since 1996, 1981. The last time they won the league, a long, long time ago. Are they for real, Coach?
I mean, we'll see. You know, it's another program that is caught fire. They're excited. They have gained some momentum at this point. You never know. Teams like that are very, very dangerous at this point because you could overlook them just based on past history. But all those young men on Foothill's team, they don't care about past history. It's about what they do right now.
There's a lot of Renegade fans asking, is this BC team for real? Are they going to make a deep run? You guys have your toughest test of the year coming up. It's homecoming. You guys are playing Canyons. Can you kind of preview that game for us?
Well, typically you don't schedule a Canyons on homecoming. You schedule a.
But you're built different.
We are built different, absolutely. But our young men, you know, and again, even for us, it's kind of a catch-22. We were playing very well, and to have a break, you know, it's a little tough. However, we had really, really good practices last week, and I think our young men now are starting, if I guess maybe more so in general, to believe that we can win. That's one of the things we talk about every day, and they practice as such. So big, big game, you know, at this point of this season. And because it's our first conference game, it's just like these young men are right now. Every single game matters.
All right, still ahead on FFX. Week 8 has come and gone, and one man stood out amongst the pack. After the break, we'll bring back Braden Waterman as the BCHS quarterback becomes our first ever 2-time Player of the Week. That's next on FFX.
You're watching Friday Football Extra!
FFX, Friday Football Extra, Kern County High School Football, sponsored by Valley Strong Credit Union. FFX, Friday Football Extra, Kern County High School Football, sponsored by Jerry's Pizza and Pub.
Welcome back. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's trophy time here on FFX. Coach, I mentioned it on Friday. We were going to talk about special teams, and right now we're handing out hardware. We're going to go for our play of the week, taking you out to Centennial High School. Centennial punting here. Their offense wasn't getting anything done, but Jalen Hankins, he was getting a lot done, Coach.
I tell you, these young men, I'm not sure if they've heard me, but special teams is becoming a big, big part of all these wins week after week.
I don't know how many punt returns we've seen so far this year. It's a lot. Hankins taking it all the way to the house there for Liberty. They absolutely dominated in this game. He's a huge reason why for those Liberty Patriots. Coach.
Absolutely. And, you know, special teams can break the opponent's back, you know, when you score like this. And these things are getting bigger and bigger every week.
Jalen Hankins, 61 yards to the house. All right, you just saw our play of the week. Now it's time for our player of the week. It's a familiar face here on FFX. Braden Waterman, the first ever two-time winner of the FFX Player of the Week award. All the way back in week 2, you were here with your brother. You're back again after a masterful performance week 8. I'm just going to read off your stat line so everybody knows. 200 yards passing, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions. You completed 85.7% of your passes. Masterful performance against West High School. And we were talking about it before the show that this team has really come alive in the past couple of weeks. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, man. I mean, we're starting to come back, maybe. But I mean, we've been coming together as a team, man. We've been, leadership. We've started to kind of, grow and I think kind of get to that next stage where we need to be.
What have practices been like at this point of the season?
It's been a lot of high tempo. Trying to get ready for, winning league and then go to playoffs.
Okay, you guys come into the West game, and a lot of hype on those West Vikings from everybody except Coach Littlejohn. Just giving you a hard time there, Coach. But to go in there and make a statement victory and say, hey, we're BCHS, we win this league, you're in, you're out. What was that like?
Yeah, it's a statement. It's definitely a big statement. I mean, we came in and, we said we were going to win, and we did, We did what we were going to do.
All right, Braden, thank you so much. That's our two-time Player of the Week, Braden Waterman. Congratulations again. That's going to do it for us here on FFX, the Expanded Edition. If you want to rewatch any of the top moments from Week 8, just go to our website, kget.com, click on that FFX icon, and for up-to-the-minute prep football coverage, be sure to follow us on Twitter at FFX on KGET. Have a wonderful Sunday night.